Okay, thought I would post a little update. So I've been working on the rear hatch wiring. It's 98 Cherokee Classic. So it has the rear wiper, of course the license plate light, the electric lock, the windshield washer. You can see the tube there for the windshield washer. None of that stuff worked. So it's also got the rear defroster, which every one of these might have it. I don't know, but I just know this is what this one has. So usually the wiring that comes from the body comes up this post across here, goes into that hole, goes right up through that hole, and then plugs into this harness right here. The problem is these little pieces that go in between those just wear out over time, and you start getting water intrusion down into, not just into the hatch, but down into the quarter panels and all that. So a lot of times the reason that your quarter is rusting out down there behind that bumper cover is because of these. So the problem is you end up with broken wires. I had 9 of my, you can see where these wires, where all these junctions are, that's right where it went into that hole and it connected up there. So I had 9 of the 13 wires in there were broken. And so I ended up going on to eBay, and you can't buy this piece of wire new that I know of. I couldn't find a place that had it. It would make a lot of sense for someone to make it, but they don't. So I went on to eBay and bought a hatch wire, because every one of these you get out of the junkyard seem like they're just as damaged. So, and most places that sell parts for these don't ever include this particular part from the body to the hatch because they're always damaged. So I bought one of these that goes around the inside part, because it was long enough. I mean, it comes all the way. So it was long enough that I would have what I needed to extend this wiring harness out, so I didn't have to come into that hole anymore. I could come into this one. So now this will come across. This is insulated heat tubing. And so basically I cut a big section. Here's the piece that I bought on eBay out of another Jeep. So I cut a 2-foot long section out of it and started to do my connections here. I really didn't want to go back up in that same hole, because all these connections would be right in that same spot and it'd just start all over again. So now I've extended this, and it goes through that heat tubing there. You cut, I don't have that seated yet, but you cut the original, these pieces, you cut the ends of them off and pass them through there, and then they'll all get sealed up once I'm done. But once they pop out this side, you solder all the ends back on here that will snap into this. And I probably got an extra 6 or 8 inches of wire. I could pull this farther out if I needed to. But the thinking here, and this isn't my idea, I saw this actually on another video, is that because this isn't straight up here and working, 90 degrees, 180, whatever, all the time, that it's only going in this side and out that side. Maybe it'll split the difference as far as wear between those 2 joints now. The other thing you have to do, obviously, is the washer tube now, which would normally come out of that hole and go into the body in this, or in the body this way, in the hatch right there. Now it's going to go into the original hole, wiring hole over here, and it'll pop up and cross just the opposite and go into the gate like it should. So I've got to extend that next. But so I'm just about done. This thing is a mess with all the different pieces that I've used, but every joint is soldered and heat shrink. Everyone works. I'd use my tester to make sure that everything was working. Actually shut the hatch last night and turned the vehicle on, and it every single thing. It's the first time I've ever seen the windshield wiper or the rear gate wiper work. But so this will come over here, I'll tidy this junction up here with electrical tape, and then all this will go up inside the trim cover that's in there. So pretty happy with it. This has been down for 3 or 4 days while I do this in the evening, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out so far. Like I said, I'll pull these back out and silicone these joints and get that one mounted all the way in there, and then we should be good to go. So it's been a process for sure, but it really has bugged me that nothing has worked on that rear gate. The third brake light worked when I first got it, but nothing else. Like even if I hit the power locks, I'd still have to come back here and manually lock that rear hatch. So hopefully I'm back up in business. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just write them underneath there, and I'll answer them best I can. But to be honest, I've got this tubing was like 5 feet of it, and it was like $15 or $16. And other than normal stuff I already had with solder and and heat shrink and all that, it really hasn't cost me anything other than time. So it's going to be good. Other than I did pay $50 for that piece of wiring to use as my extension from here on up. So I've got about half of it left. If anybody wants it, I'll make you a deal on it and the rest of this tubing if you want to do it yourself. So all right, that's all I had. Thanks guys for watching.